All right, ladies and gentlemen, episode 72 of the podcast with Pofsky. And I really enjoyed sitting down with him and having a conversation about his early ventures with music, from taking guitar lessons as a kid and, you know, his journey throughout his entrepreneurship as far as managing Preach It To Him Chris, the badass producer, from meeting Andrew at UNDRGRND Magazine and them connecting and, you know, growing that, and also Pofsky's entrepreneur mindset and in business ventures as well. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. I enjoyed talking with him. And before you do, like the video, comment down below because it helps out with the channel. And I will see you on the next one. Peace.
We made it. Let's go.
So we were talking about your early projects. I felt like there were some, like the skits and stuff.
Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? Like, which one? Like, Dynamic or something?
No, the first one.
Project you're talking about?
Yeah, first full-length project that you put out.
Dynamic, yeah.
Dynamic.
Yeah.
For that one, you had, I believe you had some skits in there.
Yeah. For sure.
And, I mean, for you, where does that idea of just putting skits in come? Like, where does that inspiration come from? Did you already know, like, you wanted to do that? Or you heard something, you were like, fuck, I want to do this? Or
yeah, I definitely, like, heard it somewhere, and, like, it hella inspired me at the time, you know? Like, I grew up on, like, really just, like, rap albums, you know? Like, listening to albums. I'm a big, like, get into an artist, listen to their projects, like, dive deep. So, like, that's, like, a real classic hip-hop thing, you know? It's, like, skits and stuff in albums. Like, making an album feel like an experience and, like, you know, the whole thing for the listener.
Right.
So that was kind of the goal with that. But there's, like, a funny skit. Shout out to my homie Josh Seiden. Still friends to this day. We've been friends for probably, like, 10 years. And he's the one talking on that skit. And he's, like, it's, like, a skit where he comes to the door and he's, like, knocking. Yeah. And he's, like, yo, I need to borrow something. I'm like, nah, I ain't got that for you right now. And then he's like, whatever, man. He, like, disses me on my shoes, but really, you know, he's so stupid, bro. He was dissing me like he was talking as if I was wearing some shoes that he was really wearing. I swear to God, bro. He just like a clown like that. But
so yeah. I was listening to that when I was running at the gym, and I was thinking, like, how did you guys record that? Did you record it, like, on a phone, or did you record it like you guys were acting, or you guys were in the studio?
No, we was at the studio for sure. Yeah, shout out to my homie Charlie Mitchner. He's an old friend that lives in Newbury Park, because, you know, I, like, grew up in Newbury Park.
Right.
So, yeah, he used to record all my stuff, and he executively produced and engineered that album, Dynamic. Okay. So we just used to record at his crib, just like this, you know?
Right.
But yeah, it was nice. He was the first one that was my first real album with all original beats and, like, just recorded by somebody solid the whole thing through, you know?
Right.
So yeah, it was all done there. So
damn.
Big vibes. Still, you could still listen to that today, like you said, and it still holds weight. Like, there's nice bars on there, the whole project.
Facts. And I mean, even going back, I know we talked about a little bit on the phone about you doing music early on.
For sure.
Did you say, how old were you?
I was 8.
8, okay.
When I started playing guitar, yeah.
Okay. Is music, like, around family, or is it
kinda like my uncle played a bunch of different instruments, but no, it's just something that my parents, like, put me into when I was younger, and I got into it, and guitar, and then I found hip hop, and then it was just like I made that whole transition, and, you know, that was like around 14, and then until like 16 years old I didn't really take it too serious, and then around then I just never looked back. Seriously, I was putting out music, just handing out stuff in high school, doing shows after, putting my own shows together, throwing events in Ventura out here. Seriously, right. Like, really putting in that legwork. And I would say the past, like, couple of years, you know, I've really, like, gotten into the industry, so to speak. You know,
I mean, at that early age, you were playing guitar. Was it just messing around? Did you take classes?
I did take classes, yeah, to teacher.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So it wasn't really, like, messing around. But
okay.
Even, like, when I was younger, I had, like, a nanny, like, when I was, like, super young, you know, because my parents was working OD. So like, she gave me a guitar, and I probably was just messing around with it as a kid, and maybe that's why they put me in the classes, you know, or something. I don't really recall exactly, but yeah, it was definitely classes. They had us doing like little mini shows for like our family and shit, you know.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was cool though. Like it was definitely my life. Like at that time, you know, up until like 12, 13 years old, as I'm kind of becoming my own little person, like I would have told you I'm gonna be like a guitarist. Like that's what I was set on, you know.
Damn, you know, fuck. I read Mac Miller's book. I think it's called Most Dope. Well, he didn't write it, but it was Paul Cantor.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that, yeah, Mac Miller also grew up, I think he played guitar, and he would do shows around, like, I think he was Jewish, so he would go to, like, Jewish shows, and he would
I'm Jewish
play.
too, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Hell yeah.
He would go to, like, Jewish shows and, like, just play there and shit.
That's dope. Yeah. I never really did anything, like, in my, like, religion and at, like, temple or nothing like that. But yeah, it was just such a big thing for me. Mac Miller, huge influence for me, too, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Do you have, like, a favorite project? Mine's Good AM.
Good AM is a great one. Shit. I would say my favorite Mac Miller projects are, like, his early ones, like, The High Life, if you've heard that mixtape, or, like, Best Day Ever.
Yeah,
or,
Best Day Ever, yeah.
You know, or, like, what's the most popular one called? I'm blanking the fuck out. Kids, yep. Yeah, those three are really good. I was just listening to like some stuff off of Macadelic the other day.
Oh shit, Macadelic, yeah.
Crazy. There's a song on Macadelic called "The Question."
Yep.
With
Lil Wayne.
Yeah, that shit crazy. Or that song "Lucky Ass Bitch" with Juicy J.
Juicy J, yeah.
Yeah, like just throwbacks. Like we really grew up on. How old are you?
25.
Yeah, I'm 25 too. So
okay.
Like, you know, we grew up on that type of shit. Like Mac Miller was Khalifa, Juicy J. Like that was like our era. Like you know what I'm saying? So yeah, for sure. But Good AM was really good project. I actually got to see it live one time.
Oh fuck! You did? Where was this at? LA?
Fuck, I forget. Yeah, it was somewhere. I think it was in San Bernardino. You know, they do all the like festivals at that one event center. I think it was there. Yeah, I think it was after or before Snoop Dogg. I forget like what show and shit it was. I used to go to.
It was like Smokers Fest or something like. I don't know, dude. Or one
like,
of those.
I used to go to you know what Paid Dues is. You ever heard of
right,
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to go to that a lot, and like the like all the cannabis ones. You know, I'm a big smoker, so.
Okay.
Yeah, like all the what the fuck is that called? Like there's one called Chalice that was like for like glass, like bongs and like different like dab rigs and stuff like that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then there's like the High Times Cannabis Cup and just like stuff like that, you know. So yeah, and they would always have big performers and like everybody in hip hop smokes and shit. So it was always huge, crazy, dope lineups. Wu-Tang Clan I saw a bunch of times.
Fuck.
You know, Nas and shit. So yeah.
When did you really start getting into like deep into the music, like listening to albums and stuff, like hip hop or like any music in general?
I mean, when I was like young, I would say that around that like 10, 11-year-old range, I was definitely like listening to a lot of classic rock music and was definitely listening to the albums and stuff. But I got really into like the albums when I started diving into hip hop music, you know. And some of the first ones would be like Ready to Die by Biggie, you know, or like 36 Chambers by Wu-Tang. You know, those really classics, you know. Illmatic when I found it, Gangstar stuff.
Gangstar, yeah.
Big L, you know.
That New York.
Yeah, I was like super big on New York at first. And then now I'm like super big on LA. Cuz I live in LA and I'm like in it now, so I got to like be really on it, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing that I was talking to Contra and it made sense because he was like, I mean, you probably already know, but the idea of an album was for it to be on like a vinyl, and like when people were partying and shit, they would just let the vinyl play, and then so the whole concept of an album is something that you wouldn't want to skip because they don't want to fucking skip the vinyl and shit like each and every
Right.
time at the party.
Right.
But it made sense, dude. Like, and for you, that's what you do is like you want to make a full length project that's non-skippable. Is that what you want?
For sure. For sure. I mean, like, I'm definitely like a album artist, I would say, but it's been a long time since I put out a project though. Like, it's been a couple of years.
Last year, I think
Well,
21.
yeah, I did put out an album or like a EP, I guess you could call it, with my boy Dio Kane. But that wasn't like necessarily like we sat down and make a project. We kind of just like took a bunch of records that we had and like made it a
Okay.
project. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which nothing wrong with that, but like I'm very like I like to have a theme maybe, or just like a goal of like, okay, I'm going into it making these songs, and then like even if I take some songs I already had and then I start to organize and break it down and really make the album. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, like how do you choose the vibe? Like, I mean, each project is different, but how do you choose what goes where in the track list?
It's a hard decision, you know. Kind of sonically you try to just like feel it, right? Like I'm the type of artist where I do make a lot of different sounding music, you know. So it's kind of about organizing that in like the right way that would like keep the listener entertained. Again, like going back to like the like just making them feel like they're a part of it and painting that picture, you know. Like if I'm giving you a project that has like some slower vibes and like some darker stuff, like I might arrange that one way versus if I have more of an upbeat project or if I have stuff mixed. So it's just all about transitioning it the right way, you know what I'm saying? And keeping that energy. It's similar to like when you make your set for a show, you know, like I know I'm going to be performing 5 songs or 2 or 3 songs, so I'm going to do it in this order because this is what's going to keep the attention and that kind of vibe. But yeah, I haven't made a project in a while, and to be honest with you, I keep like talking about how I'm working on projects, and like I do work on it for a second, and then I stop because I just be working on so many different things, you know.
Yeah. We'll get into that. I want to ask you about other ventures and stuff as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, it's kind of tough, and especially like, you know, bro, like I'm a really like organized person when it comes to just anything I'm doing. So especially music at this point in my career, like I've done a lot of like really calculated steps. So it's like the more calculated you get, you can't like not do it at that high level anymore. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like now that I just like I'm coming off of my release of Light It Up, Derek King, Kyle Banks, Louie Ji. Like that's not an easy, simple thing to get done. And again, very like high level thing for me at this point. So now it's like whatever I come with next, you need to do it at the same high level, right? And it's not just the record. It's like everything around the record. It's the last thing is the record. Not the last thing, because it's like so important, and like the names, like features can really, really carry you weight. You know what I'm saying? Like it helped me a lot. But it's all about what you do with your song and like all the stuff around it. And that comes with budget, that comes with relationships, that just comes with timing. There's a lot of different things, you know?
Right.
But mainly it's budget. You know, you got to have the right budget, and you got to like, that song Light It Up, I probably put like 10 bands into that record at least.
Shit.
You know, just between everything, promo, PR, you know, like going to a friend of mine who really does PR, really pitches it out to different people. Got me on Apple Music Radio, you know, got me on LA Leakers, which is on Sirius XM. That shit got me a ton of plays that day. Like, this is real. That's how real industry people do it.
Yeah, bro.
You get what I'm saying? So I'm treating myself like a record label. So now I'm not just going to put out a record and, like, hope it does good. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, that makes sense.
I got to, like, put it out with, like, a plan now.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying is, like, if I were to do an album, think about how complicated that is. It's 10 songs. You got to have the plan around the whole album. I want to tour. I want to go to different states. I want to fucking do this and that. It costs a lot of money, bro. Yeah. It's a lot to do. So as much as I do want to make these albums for myself, I really end up coming back to, like, I'm just going to put out these singles. I've developed, like, some really, really dope relationships in the city and gotten some really amazing records done. And, like, I think it's just smarter for me business-wise at this point to do it that way. I have nobody telling me what to do. You know what I'm saying? No label, no manager. Like,
You're building your own fucking your own way or your own lane. And I think that's
Yeah.
where the future is, bro. It's like with cryptocurrency, with all the like blockchain,
Mm-hmm.
each individual person is becoming their own like entity in a way where you can sort of bypass these you can bypass the middleman pretty much.
Yeah.
If you like if you build that fan base, it's like direct to consumer pretty much.
Exactly. That's like the whole conversation right there is just like the old school traditional thinking of wanting to be with a record label and versus what you can do now independently, you know, and what artists have been able to do independently. But I think there's a lot of confusion too and a lot of lack of knowledge, at least in regards to music. You know, I don't know a lot of I'm in music. So that's
Yeah.
where my knowledge is at. You feel me?
Right.
So like I just think that like there's a lot of lack of knowledge when people talk about like being with the record label or not. There's a lot of benefits you could get from being with the record label. There's nothing wrong with that.
For sure. Yeah.
You know, it's okay. It's great. There's a lot of different ways to work with labels. There's management, there's publishing, there's 360 deals.
Yep.
And it's so complicated, bro.
Like with Logic, he freaking signed with freaking Def Jam,
Yeah.
and he was able to work with no ID and shit like that. So like at that moment, like the prior to like he was already big, but that just took him to the next level, just being able to work with freaking the legend No ID, and like signing with a record label was that catalyst.
Right. It's pretty much like, yeah, they open the door for the relationships is like a huge thing, right?
Right.
And then when you look at like what we're doing with Underground right now, like I'm able to build relationships through that.
Right.
So it's like what you're saying, direct to consumer. Like I can make this product and create this company and this platform that I'm also an artist now and can utilize and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
You know, so that's how that works. But yeah, it's like there's a lot of things that record labels can do for you, for me, for anybody that like we can't do for ourselves. You know, whether it's budget or whether it's relationship or whether it's just like
marketing.
Yeah. And like there's just a lot of it's really complicated, you know what I'm saying? But it's not impossible. A lot of people do it on their own, and you can do it on your own, but you have to be cut for that. You know, you really have to be cut for that. Like people think they're cut for that, and they're just so far from it. It really makes me laugh. Like I really try to just stay to myself because a lot of people really be killing me out here, and it's just like, you know, the truth will show through the light is how I work. Like I'm a pretty like just I like to talk and do interviews and whatever and do my thing, pretty out there guy, but I also am pretty kept to myself and make a lot of moves and don't always say what necessarily is on my mind because
well, I mean, how
you know
hard is it to just work for yourself, dude? Because not having a boss, not having someone tell you what to do, you have to be that boss for yourself. And like you said, it's for people to, I mean, for myself, I'm gonna speak for myself. For me, it's like self accountability. It's
for sure.
I mean, no one else is gonna tell you what to do. You have to do it for yourself.
For sure, yeah. I mean, you know, I actually like recently just took a big leap in life, and just like, you know, I was working a regular job just like most of us, and I just took a leap to leave that job. So really, the question you're asking is very relevant to me right now. I'm really becoming my own boss in every full extent right now. Like I mentioned, I'm opening a photo studio. You know, we got the magazine. I do like merchandising and like promotional stuff with my mom because that's the business she's in. So there's a lot of like transitions I'm doing right now to like change my income, change my day to day, all that kind of stuff. And the overall goal is to be able to do the magazine, do music, do more of what I'm here to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So that's the goal. And it's really difficult to do that shit again, you know, and how I do that, I think is, definitely self-accountability, having a routine, having a schedule, sticking to it. You got to be just really comfortable, like sacrificing things, you know, like you're not going to be able to always just spend that time with this person or or go hang out with, your homies, or just like do whatever you want to do, like, or go, like, sometimes even if I want to go do something music related, I can't because I have to go here, or I might not go here because I have to go here for this. Like,
Right.
you got to learn how to prioritize, and
Facts.
that's like something that I'm trying to figure out right now too, is like I'm always just trying to like make plans every day, just keep myself overly booked all the time. And sometimes it gets tough and it gets tricky, and I'm like finding myself in situations where like, fuck, I need to like get a little better at just like doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Do you have like a planner? Like how how are you managing your time? As far like for me, that's something I'm trying to work on too, is being on point with scheduling and even like just writing shit down. Or do
Yeah.
you write stuff down?
Yeah, I write everything down in my notes on my phone, for real.
Okay.
Or on my computer, and I like share them through my computer and my phone and just do it that way.
Okay.
But yeah, constantly I'm writing stuff down. I'm always writing stuff down in like 3 places. Like I'll just be driving and like talking to my notes, like remind me at 12 o'clock, you know what I mean? Like to do this, or just like go here, or like remember to, think about this idea. Like I'm always just like talking about that, or I might be leaving the gym, writing down a couple bars for a song that I might be just like thinking of at that moment.
It's like, I heard, well, I follow bodybuilding, and Bradley Martin
Yeah.
mentioned that like, like being an entrepreneur, being a social media influencer, it's like 24/7, like nonstop, like thinking of shit to create or to sell, like on your business. And that, I feel like what you're saying is that that's what you're going through right now. It's like nonstop, constant, like I gotta do this, I gotta plan something, I gotta write some bars down.
Yeah, yeah. Even more than that, just like be here, take this call, do this, think about this next business venture. Like,
Yeah.
just my brain is like ping pong, bro. Like all the time, it's just like one thing to the next, and like, I try to do everything I do at a high level. So like, I really do give a lot of things my attention. It's just like maybe sometimes I'm here, maybe I'm there. Boom, boom, boom. I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Like, I feel like I do that well. I feel like I balance things well. I do multiple things well, Like, yes, I'm opening my second, third business, you could call it. But they all coincide with each other. You get what I'm saying? It all makes sense. Like, I'm trying to be a real successful person out here, and that shit doesn't just, like, easily happen off of one thing, or, like, just off of music, too. Like, it's way more than just music. And as much as I just wish that I could just do music all day, like, I'm personally have a bigger purpose and driven to do more than just music. And I'm really passionate about business. So that's why I get excited to do the magazine. And then I'm thinking about, oh, we can do this with the magazine, and oh, we can do this. And Andrew's like, what are we doing right now? Like, hold on. And like, so that's kind of our relationship. Like,
Right.
I'm kind of sometimes over here, Andrew's here. He's like a little more grounded, and I'm a little bit more like
Creative.
yeah, type shit.
Okay.
Like,
What was that conversation? Because I don't think if not, I don't remember, but asking Andrew about how you guys met. But what was the conversation? Did you guys meet in high school or?
Yeah, well, we knew like of each other in high school type shit, but then after high school, he reached out to me to interview me. We sat down, we did an interview, and then he later told me that he was going to school in Boston, and that I could come to the school to do an interview at the radio station. So I did that. I dropped an album, came out there with a big team of people. We did a tour. We had Boston and New York. And I'm sure that I know that it really inspired him. And that was like honestly kind of the birth of Underground, when he like really saw the scene already happening, but then see me come out there, and then we developed more of a relationship. And then he came to me some time later and was like, yo, I want to make a magazine, and just like had it all figured out already.
Shit.
Asked me to be on it. And then I kind of lightweight helped him figure out who else would be on it, But really it was more his thing, but I just kind of played like the background with him,
Right.
And then we did the first one. I helped him, like, essentially he asked me, like, so how are we going to sell this thing? Like, I'm putting a lot of money up into making this magazine, and like, how do you think I can make some money back? Like, should I just sell this on Instagram and like just hope for the best, or what? How should I do it?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, no, we should do a show, and then that should come with the magazine. The ticket to the show comes with the hard copy magazine. So that's what we did. January 17th, 2020, Lion City Studios on Main Street in Ventura. We shut that bitch down. We were denying tickets. We had it packed out in that motherfucker. Everybody knows that was there, and that was like the birth of Underground, was that night, January 17th, 2020. And yeah, I performed at that shit, of course. I dropped my EP that day before. You see what I'm saying? So that's, not to go off on like a random tangent, but it's like, that's how I move and think. I'm like, all right, we're going to do this. I'm going to do this to complement it and
Facts.
make it bigger. Like, so I'm like just thinking big, bro, always. And like, so I knew that we had the magazine coming, so I made the album, right? Like, when I was younger, I knew I could go on the interview, so I made the album, dropped it, went out and did that. You know what I'm saying? So it's always like such a pre-planned out thing with everything.
Right.
But yeah, and then the pandemic hit. We did one more show that was like a follow-up show from our issue 1. And the pandemic hit like that weekend for real, and we decided to still do the show anyways.
What was that, like in March or April or some shit?
Yeah, like March something, 13th or something like that.
Yeah. And
yeah, we still did the show, and it was all right. We probably still had like almost 100 people there, which was cool. And then pandemic hit. It was crazy. We're like, what the fuck we gonna do? And then Andrew asked me essentially to be his business partner. And then we put together issue 2, and the rest is history.
Shit.
Hell yeah, man.
I mean, for me too, when I'm doing the podcast, it's like I'm talking to lots of people, and it's just building a giant web or network of just interconnectedness of just fucking relationships and friendships. And the more I talk to people, it's like the more this thing fucking just grows, dude. It's wild.
Hell yeah, exactly. That's what Underground is just built on the web. You know what I'm saying? That community, just like that, like one person to the next, It's really like just grassroots like that.
Facts.
But now we're starting to like get bigger artists and bigger like people and just like grow,
Right.
So there's like a healthy medium that we have right now between big artists, influencers, so to speak, and like this bigger reach of marketing, and then still touching like the upcoming artists, like ground level, you know what I'm saying? So it's all about maintaining that as we grow type shit.
And you sent me a bio of what you do, and one of the things that said that was in there was marketing and managing.
Yeah.
So how did you, I mean, you're managing Chris right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for the marketing stuff, where did you sort of learn that? Was it, I mean, is it just through time, or was it trial and error? Was it going to school?
Not school. Definitely time, trial and error, everything in between. Just kind of using my just felt the vibe for things, and just kind of feeling things out and figuring out. Yeah, definitely never had like anyone who taught me how to do it. My mom is in the branding and promotional product industry, like I mentioned. So I've always grown up watching her, watching my dad. Like my dad started the company when he was way younger, sold his company. My mom started her own company. So I've watched them be entrepreneurs. I've watched them do marketing-esque things, So yeah, I've kind of been around that in my family, so to speak. But like with the whole music and marketing and just like, I just got really creative on my own. And I never had anyone help me with my shit. Like maybe people like came in and like matched my energy of like a GM Beats, for example, that like he made on my beats. He recorded me, like we was working together tough, like still working together tough. You know what I'm saying? But like, so somebody like that, it's like we match each other energy. But I never had somebody that just came in and just fucking like put me on game.
Right.
Or just like gave me those handouts or brought me into those rooms. Like some people as I came up, little things, But yeah, you really are forced to figure it out on your own. And when you're so driven and so passionate and want to do it so badly, you're going to figure it out on your own. And then again, like I love business and music like equally, you know? So now that I'm a business owner in the music world, it's like the possibilities are fucking crazy, bro. Like I'm like living it out. Everything I want to do right now. Like we're really starting. This is like how fucking Jay-Z started Rockefeller, you feel me? Like
Yeah.
I couldn't be more convinced that I'm going to go where I'm trying to go. And so this is just a way to do it. And there's a million ways of like how to figure that out and how to get that way, you know? So
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a funny saying, being an entrepreneur is like jumping off a cliff with broken plane parts and trying to fucking rebuild that plane on the way down.
Right.
And trying to fly.
Yeah, on me. It's true, man. At every level, you know, it's like it only gets harder, and it gets more fun, and more like some shit gets easier and other things get harder, you know? It's like it's just not.
But it's part of the process. Like the whole process is where it's at. Even with like going to the gym and shit, it's like, you know, I want to bench 2 plates. That shit takes like, for me, it took like 5 years. Fucking took a long ass time.
Yeah.
So it takes time.
For sure. Everything you do.
Everything, yeah.
You know, takes that time. But yeah, it's all about developing those routines and like little things like the gym.
Habits.
Yeah, habits. That is like the type of stuff that really helps me going into these like bigger things, you know? Like starting this second business with this photo studio right now, like just learning how to create routine and habits, and jumping out of work and like having somebody to tell me when to get out of bed or when to go to sleep or when to fucking do this and that. Because like sometimes at night you just want to sit up all night and just eat junk food and watch bullshit and go to bed at 3 a.m. But then you're going to wake up in the morning and feel like shit and be lazy and be late and all that shit, you know? It's like
prioritizing sleep too. It's like going to bed at a certain time. That's something that I'm working on.
Right.
Is like trying to get at least like 7 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Because if you're, you know, I don't want to feel shitty throughout the day.
Right. And again, it just goes back to that thing of me feeling like just so overbooked a lot of the time. Like this week, it's just like, okay, so today we got this. I got meeting after, another meeting. I have 3 more meetings after this today. Granted, one of them was with my pops, so it's like chill, but he's helping us with some of the business. So it's like business meeting, you know? Right. Meeting with a videographer, meeting with another like manager chick that I'm working with, you know what I'm saying? Then tomorrow it's like a light day, but it's like haircut meeting in LA. Like that's the other thing, is just driving to LA. Like I live in the valley. And so it's just like 30 to an hour of a drive, just 4 or 5 days a week, bro. I've already been out there just, I think, every day this week. Seriously. So it's just like back to LA tomorrow, get this haircut, come back, link with Andrew, meeting for a motherfucker, and then we got a big magazine shoot on Saturday, and then I have 2 recording sessions on Sunday.
So bro, it's like just booked. Yep.
Yeah, you know. But that's how you gotta be.
No, yeah, for sure. Fuck, I was gonna ask a question. Okay. So when you do get that photo studio, do you plan on staying out there?
Like moving out there?
Yeah.
No, I really want to like. Probably the furthest I would go right now would be like Studio City or something, like right above the hill. You know, not like to Hollywood or downtown or anything. But I would potentially live in the city one day. I don't know where or what that would look like, but potentially. You know. So, but yeah, I like the valley right now. It's cool. I grew up in the valley as well as Newbury Park, so it's like comfortable, familiar, less traffic, you know.
Chill.
Safe.
Fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard fucking Burbank. No, well, like around the area, there's a lot of, or more crime has been happening. Shit like that, like break-ins and fucking
all sorts of shit.
All sorts of shit.
For sure, yeah. My girl be having that Citizens app, so she just like always be getting these OD alerts, like a man with a knife, or like, you know, like a car like hijacking, like shit like that, like by our crib. And I'm like, all right, like, I mean, I know that shit happens a lot of places, like even just out here, like in Oxnard, like that shit happens. You feel me? Like, but I don't need to see it on my phone every 3 fucking minutes. So I'm not like having that shit on my phone. You feel me? But yeah, it's like it's definitely a safe area, bro. You feel me? Like
Yeah, for sure.
in the valley.
For sure. What time? We got time. 30. Okay, cool. We're good. Kind of going back to around the high school times, how was it making music? And especially like for people around you, how did you deal with people that, I mean, I'm sure, how do I put this? Was it hard for you to make music at that time where people are like around you sort of judging you, or how was it around that time of being in high school making music?
Yeah, it was definitely hard at first, you know. Yeah, because like I didn't really have anybody that was like supporting it like that, so I didn't really feel like empowered. You know what I mean? Like it was really just like I had my friends that said it was cool, but then it's not like my friends were like riding with me tough on it. Like I was really having to like hold my own weight on it. So yeah,
For sure.
it was tough. It definitely kind of made me like stand out as probably a little weird to people because it was just like doing something that was so out of the norm. But like you see me today and it makes sense.
You
get what I'm saying? Like that's really me. Like that wasn't just some bullshit I was just like trying to do. Like this is really me, and like that's really what I'm gonna be. So like it's gonna make even more fucking sense in 5 years. You
For
feel me?
sure.
So yeah, it was definitely tough though. I mean, those were the days that shaped me. Like this rap battle that I did in high school, like just like shows that I did. Like I did my first show, I think it was in like junior year. And I like found this venue in Camarillo and booked it out and invited all my friends out.
So Rock City?
I think so.
Right. I think there was a.
I think it was called Rock City.
Rock City. Okay.
In that little plaza.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And it's like that big ass parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I had a friend at the time that was supposed to do the show with me, and he like backed out the show. Like literally was supposed to do the whole shit, and we had a big commitment with the whole place and everything. And I'm like 16. Like this is when the problems start happening, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like it's never stopped. Never.
Yeah.
It started then and never stopped. Almost 10 years in. Like at 16 years old. Like, but yeah, this fool like was supposed to do this shit with me, backed out, and I had like to take on the whole shit. But you know, we finessed and ran that shit up. Got that money just like we do.
For real.
For sure. For sure. So we was running plays and figuring it out at a young age, bro. But yeah, it took a long time to get here, you know.
The fucking journey.
Yeah. Bro.
I mean, I'm just curious around that time too. For you, were you reaching out to these venues and how did you book those shows and shit?
Yeah, I definitely like figured out how, like that was the whole question I had when I was younger. It was just like, how do I get a show? Like, how do I get on a radio station? Like, how do I, you know, get a feature with a big artist? Like, I didn't know how to go about those things. And when I was younger, yeah, I just kind of figured out how to find the venue and put it together, and just like figured out the venue pretty much had everything I need. So I just got to make the deal with them and sell as many tickets as they want me to, and just kind of crack the code at that age.
For sure.
And yeah, at that age, being in high school, you had tickets. You could like push your hard copy tickets that you actually like had to go drop off to people and shit.
Yeah, you're at school. You're fucking mad people there at school. Just
right.
You could push that shit.
Pushing it.
Yeah.
Pushing it. So I did it and I figured it out. I probably had like 50 people at that first show or something, and it felt like the world. It was amazing. Yeah. I performed by myself for like 2 hours.
Fuck.
I swear on my life, bro.
Jeez.
Like I did a long ass, maybe not 2 hours, but like I did a long ass set, like 30 plus minutes, and then like took an intermission and then came back out.
Is there footage?
All by myself.
Is there footage of that?
Yeah, somewhere for sure.
Somewhere.
For sure, somewhere. I bet I have some somewhere. For real, I could find it. I bet.
Shit.
Yeah, that shit crazy though. Crazy, man. Never been scared to do this shit, even if other people was putting me down, and like, you know, even like I told you I started at 14, but then at 16 I like really got more into it. So like even between that time of like 14 to 16, I was still rapping and shit all the time. I was just not telling anybody. Like I was super like not embarrassed about it, but just was like not confident enough to tell anyone. And then around 16, I gained more confidence and just like started to become a young man out here and shit. And one of my homies told me that I should rap because he heard me freestyle one night when we were turned up. 16 off that Henny, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, and then we was kicking flows and he was like, yo, you really got some. And so at that point I was like, yeah, let me fuck with it. And then I got a whole studio and then I got expelled from school. And then my mom took me in because I was with my pops. So then my mom took me in and she would let me use my recording setup as like a fucking, as like a, like I could earn it, you know, like I could earn back my time to use my recording setup. And so that was like all I was allowed to do when I was grounded. So
what were you allowed to, what was it?
Recording. Like she would let me use my
okay,
recording setup, you know, when I was grounded. So shit, so I did that, started learning how to like record myself a little bit, but I never stuck with recording myself ever. Like once I found people that knew how to do it good, I stopped doing it type shit, which I wish I kept it up. But, you know, it's good. Let people do what they do best, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and surround yourself with people that are doing what they do best.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm huge on that.
For sure. Okay, so managing Chris, he told me that you guys met at, was it Burning Mouth?
Yeah.
In the line?
Yeah.
How did that conversation come up?
I think it came up because he was like, I overheard him talking with his homies. I think he just filmed a music video.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So like he was talking with his homies. They were all hyped up about the video or whatever. And I was like, oh, you an artist? And he's like, yeah, I'm an artist and really like a producer, but I'm an artist too. And I was like, oh, that's what's up. Like, you know, I run UNDRGRND Magazine and I'm an artist and shit, blah, 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 blah. And we just connected and shit. And then he started sending me beats. And what I told Chris, what was so crazy is I happened to be having lunch that day with this guy named JMO. Shout out to JMO. He does something what's called licensing and sync in music. So that's basically when you use music for like television and film and stuff like that.
Right.
So he's in that world. And yeah, he works at a company called The Bus. And they're based in Nashville, but then they like opened a spot in LA, so he moved out here. And JMO had met Andrew, and Andrew interviewed JMO one time. And Andrew was like, you got to connect with bro, you know, because you do music. So I did, and then that was our first meeting, me and JMO.
Oh, shit.
At the collection. And so I'm in line with this dude who's like, you know, he like A&R'd at, I believe, like Warner, like even at that time, just like what, a couple years ago now, like maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That was like a big meeting for me to be having. Like I felt like, holy shit, like I'm out with this big label guy, like what the fuck is going on, you know? And then I just met Chris, so, and it was just a trip because me and Chris actually just had a Zoom call with him the other day and we talking about doing some publishing stuff with him.
Shit.
So super full circle moment because this guy actually just pitched one of our songs the other day to like a show on VH1, which is a trip. Chris produced it.
Shit.
So it's just real full circle, you feel me?
That's wild, bro. Right place, right time.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Chris is a great young man, you know what I'm saying? He going hard as fucking what he doing. And like we just, again, met that way. He started sending me beats. We've been making records now for, I would say, again, probably a couple years. And just recently he was telling me that he wanted a manager. And like we had a couple phone calls where he was like, yeah, I'm kind of looking for someone to manage me. And I was like, well, like I would potentially manage you. Like, you know, let's talk about it. He was like, yeah, you know, I would like potentially have you as my manager. You know what I mean? Like, and that doesn't mean like I'm waking up in the morning, like holding his hand. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he lives out here, Oxnard. I live in the Valley. Like we talk pretty often, right? But like there's so many degrees of like what a manager could be. Obviously, I have a lot going on, right? I'm an artist. I'm running underground. I'm opening a photo studio. Like I'm doing the merch shit. I make money. Like crazy time in my life right now. Like maybe probably the last time I should be adding anything onto my plate otherwise, right? Yeah. Like we talked about earlier. But I just fuck with Chris so much. And again, it's like everything that I'm doing, it all it's synergistic.
Right.
So it's all connected and helps one another.
Right.
Right. So it's like part of our arrangement is like that I just get beats from him all day, which is like he was already giving me beats. Like that's not just like a whatever, but it's like now it's just set in stone. Like I'm gonna do this work for you. I got beats. We got our other arrangement, whatever. But it's like my goal with him is he's doing his thing in he went to school up in Sacramento, I believe.
Yeah.
So he's got his like big roots out there right now, just producing for a lot of big NorCal people, artists, and collabing with a lot of NorCal producers, I believe, and selling beats and just really becoming successful on his own.
Thing for sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So my goal for him is to connect him with more LA people and start to land him LA placements with producers and artists, which we've already started to do. I've actually now thrown like 4 production sessions. Shout out to my man Cartier Rich and Blue Tint Recording Studios. Basically, he let us go up in there, and I brought Chris 3 of the 4 times, and I invite all these different fucking LA producers that I know, or just different producers from wherever, or artists, or DJs, or managers, or A&Rs, or just people in the industry, photographers, videographers. It's like a melting pot in them. Yeah. And yeah, the goal is for Chris to work with these people and to eventually build relationships, get placements, so on and so forth. We were just in the studio the other day with Ron. Chris wasn't with me, but I don't know if you know who Ron is, but he produced all of Shoreline Mafia's records.
Okay.
So like our network is really getting crazy out here. And that's what I want to expand to Chris. I want him to be able to utilize my network and my contacts and what I can do. And I'm not a producer. So there's a lot of producers I know, a lot of producer plays I have that I can't make because I'm not a producer. So now he can make those plays and we can make them together. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So
just have it ready. Just pretty much have it ready.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and Chris also had a big moment with an artist named Lil Cito. So shout out to Young Saudi and shout out to Marty at the Lights Global because they looked out for Chris in a major way, and Chris landed a placement on Lil Cito's record that went super viral for him. I think it has like several millions, like 5, 6, 7, 8 million, whatever. I
think was it Blueface hopped on that.
Blueface hopped on the remix, exactly. Yeah. So Chris now landed a second placement, got more streams, right? So, yeah, and just over at the Lights Global, they're doing big things. Marty, our homie, is head A&R now over there, pretty much, not just because, but definitely this Little Cito growth helped his growth at the company. So it's just cool to see all of us going together. Young Saudi, my homie, is the one who got Chris's beats to Marty.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And like Chris is Young Saudi is my homie, and then Chris and Young Saudi met through me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just all like not
the web.
Like, yeah, it's not a web. It's not even for any weird shit. It's a web. It's for love. It's like this is real life.
It's real shit.
This is how it really happens. So that's why I'm just making sure to shout out everybody and just tell that story. So.
And like we were saying earlier, just purely organic and nothing feels forced. It's just happening. It's just pretty much just feels organic.
Right. Like I didn't even know that like Young Saudi got Chris's shit on there and like that you know what I mean? Like they had met through me. Like that's crazy, but I didn't even realize that they was doing that. You know what I'm saying? So like great. That's great for Chris. Like that's amazing. I want to see him go up. And that was dope as fuck to watch that play happen. And obviously Chris knows that he met Young Saudi through me, and he sees the benefit of why he would want to work with me. You know what I'm saying? For multiple other reasons, but like that's just an example of the type of shit that I could bring people. You know?
For sure.
And otherwise, I've been like bringing Chris out to like networking events, red carpet, got him on the red carpet, got myself on the red carpet, like the real way. You feel me?
Right.
It's been good. I like being a manager, for real. I do.
And let's talk about just future stuff that you're doing. I know we talked about the photo studio, the managing, but is there anything else that you have in mind that in the 2-year, 3-year, 4 or 5-year plans as far as just if you could look ahead?
Yeah. Like a big thing is for me to kind of transition more, because really what I'm doing right now for Underground is a lot of like creative direction, brand development, A&R, you know, a lot of marketing, stuff like that. So it'd be really cool to do that with and for other companies and bigger companies. You know, I don't like to say like too much, but like I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
I'd love to like be a Virgil. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
see.
the way that he went into Louie and like just had his whole own creative direction.
Right.
Not that I'm like on the fashion tip. There's so many ways that you could do that. But just in brand development, creative direction, marketing. I really, really, really have grown to like that. I definitely see clothing for myself as something that will happen sooner than later, with like through and throughout Underground, you know, like Underground merch and also like otherwise, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Record label stuff, like I'm currently also developing our next Underground album, which like all the artists on there probably are a little frustrated with me because it's taking a little too long.
Yeah.
But it'll happen. It'll come together as it should. Yeah, developing the record label, developing myself as an artist, putting albums out, managing more people, expanding the team, more writers, more photographers, more graphic designers, more magazines, more brands we're working with, bigger artists. We have some really big artists, really dope artists that we got for our next magazine that's coming out maybe before the end of the year.
Shit.
So just like shit like that. You feel me?
Dope, man. Well, is there anything that you want to promote before we go?
Yeah, I mean, just make sure that you check out Light It Up, man. Light It Up's going crazy right now. We almost at 60,000 streams, totally organic. So yeah, just check out Light It Up, featuring Derek King, Kyle Banks, by me and Louie Ji. Yeah, man, go stream that. Check out the music video. Check out Underground Magazine. If you're chopping in with this, you're probably at 805 local, so you already know the vibes. But we got issue 6 out right now at AZ Chike. We have issue 7 coming out soon with some amazing artists. Be ready for new music. Yeah.
Socials.
Instagram. Yeah. Trap Pofsky. Pofsky is how you spell my name. So Trap Pofsky on Instagram, Twitter. Definitely check me out on Apple, Spotify, all that type of shit. And yeah, man, it's gonna be a big journey. Just make sure to stay tuned.
Sheesh.
Yeah, and I
For
appreciate you having me on the show, bro. For real.
Anytime, bro. Thank you for this. Finally, I'm glad it finally happened. So thank you.
Hell yeah, no, for sure. We rocking, we locked in forever. So it's
Yes,
good.
sir.
Good money.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Yay.